Hello again and welcome to another episode of the Franchise Everything podcast where we talk about everything and anything franchising. And today I'm with Carla Sconce, who is the founder of HIIT Pilates. Hello again, Carla.
Hello, Glenn.
Thank you again for having us here in the studio today. We're going to run around and do a bunch of filming as well today and do a tour and that sort of stuff, so looking forward to that. But this one is called the 5 Key Things That Have Made the HIIT Pilates franchise was what it is today.
Okay.
So now we already said in the previous one we've done, you've got your first franchise opening in just about 6 weeks?
Yeah, well, I suppose January, yes.
Which is pretty exciting. Very exciting. So this is, we're going to talk about 5 key things in business model to now. So the first one that you came up with was discovering that there was something in between PT or personal training and Reformer Pilates. Can you tell me what that means?
Yeah, so, when I was just an instructor, people liked my classes. They'd say, I love your classes, they're really hard, but I miss going to the gym, or I love your classes, but I miss my cardio. And then I also had a lot of people who came to the classes for the first time and they're like, oh, I hurt myself at the gym, I've been told I should do Reformer
Lifting
Pilates.
stuff or whatever, yeah.
And so I thought when I was going to open up a studio, I thought I need a point of difference. I can't just be another Reformer studio.
Because there are a lot of fitness options out there.
Yeah, there are a lot of options out there, but there's a lot of same. And I wanted to be different. And so I thought, and I also recognize that a lot of people are time poor, that the 50-minute class does work for a lot of people. They can do it in their lunch break. They can easily fit in before or after work. So I was like, okay, what have I got? I've got 50 minutes to play with. How do I get the most out of it? And that's when I looked into a combination of high-intensity interval training off the Reformer and the rest of the class on the Reformer. So then I sort of deep dived into, what's the best amount of time that you can do with high-intensity interval training. And I sort of came up with, through the research that I was reading, 12 minutes is a sort of sweet number.
Yep.
So great. There's my first 12 minutes of class. HIIT training on strength days that focuses on...
So is that HIIT training a bit of cardio or something? Or
so HIIT on the strength days is circuit work with dumbbells. So think things like 4 rounds of exercises, 4 exercises, 3 rounds, all over in 12 minutes. On a strength day, it incorporates dumbbells. At the HIIT Pilates, we go up to 20 kilos max. The beds themselves have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 kilo dumbbells, so nothing ridiculous.
Yep.
Very accessible and achievable, but we make you do it for like 50 seconds on, 10 seconds off, 4 exercises, 3 rounds. On a sweat day, absolutely. It's cardio, it's burpees, it's jump squats, it's speed skater lunges. On a sweat day, most people are like, I'm going to be sick, and that's perfect. So that 12 minutes.
That's what you want.
Absolutely. I'm like, that's the best class ever. I went to hug someone who left the class just before, she's like, oh, I'm so sweaty. I'm like, if you weren't sweaty, she hadn't done her job.
Absolutely.
So absolutely fine. So 12 minutes of working as hard as they physically can, but that's off the Reformer. That's on the floor. It's a safe, effective workout. And then we get them onto the Reformer, where our Reformer will then do a full body conditioning workout that will flow seamlessly like a dance, but it's still very athletic in its focus.
Yeah, and it was fairly active when we were in here.
So very active, and it moves quickly. We want the whole class experience to be, just one of those things where you sort of, you finish the class and you think, God, what just happened? But you're not sitting in the class looking at the clock ever.
Yeah, there's always something going on.
There's always something going on.
So that effectively is something in between, like having personal training, did you say, and the Reformer Pilates. So somewhere nicely in the sweet spot between.
I've been to lots of Reformer classes where I'm lying on the bed doing an exercise thinking, when can I go home? Or you're thinking about what you're going to have for lunch, or what you're going to, you just don't have that time in our classes, which I actually think is it's a really good thing for people to do, is to actually come and get out of their head.
Yep.
You don't have time to think about other stuff. We're telling you to do these things and pushing you to your level. So there's no time to think about, the fight you've had with so-and-so or the crap going on at work. It's just like get in here and just do the best thing for your body.
Do it fast. The second thing you said was a key thing so far in the development of the HIIT Pilates franchise is your instructor focus. Now, we've been here, done a bit of talking today already. We've been here for an hour and a half. Instructors have been part of everything. Yeah. So what's so important about the instructor focus that you have?
The success of every class is reliant upon that instructor. Absolutely. And people come to a studio for the instructor. I think that's a very big part of what makes any studio a success and you're also as strong as your weakest link.
Yep.
So we constantly mentor our instructors. I have a training manager who goes in. It's routine that she'll come into a class and then she'll give them an assessment of really constructive feedback so that they can constantly grow. I give all my instructors a free membership so they can come to classes as much as they want, and I want them to. That's really important too, because a lot of studios I worked at, they'll be like, oh, you can't book into classes.
Because
Like,
you're taking someone's spot.
Yeah. Don't book into classes, but just hover around if a bed's available. I'm like, no one has the time to do that. And also as instructors, mostly
you don't feel very welcome.
You don't feel appreciated or respected. So I'm like, absolutely, yes, you can book into peak times and just make sure you show up, which they will do. And because then we're doing each other's classes, and then at the end of the class we can give little bits of feedback too, and always steal ideas off each other. And it's a collective process, and I think I haven't experienced that at any other studio I've worked at. It's always been ships in the night.
And that's interesting because you talk about community a lot, like we've talked about community quite a bit today. That community that you want to create with your members has to be created with your instructors first. Absolutely.
It starts with the team.
If it's not with the instructors first, it's not going to happen.
It starts with the instructor
That's a pretend community.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then our instructors as well, because they are loyal and they're very reliable. Well, they're going to they start to become friends with all the people who come to the 6 o'clock class, the 7 o'clock class. So they start to get to know their students well. The students get to know each other well. And my favourite thing is, if I walk past a class at my first studio in the cannery, so there's cafes downstairs, and I'll come in to get water bottles or get wipes and to take to another studio, and I see them all sort of congregating, having coffee after class. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, perfect.
They became friends because of our studio, which is such. Honestly, it sounds so trite, but that's such a big part for me.
And as part of this, so you can tailor this because you've got, as far as instructors goes, I think it's really interesting. We've talked about it today. You've got nationally accredited training for them as well.
Correct.
So you're almost building a funnel of instructors, aren't you? Very much.
Absolutely, and that's what I want to.
Which is not very nice thing to call people, but it's you know what I mean, a funnel of.
Well, do you know what though? I think it's beneficial to everyone because obviously the people who are doing our teacher training course are interested in becoming instructors.
Yep.
So I want them to graduate as awesome instructors because they've got my name associated with it. So I don't let anyone sort of pass who I wouldn't employ.
Yep.
So it also gives me the ability to pick the best of the litter, and also send, some people come and do the course and live very far away from our studios. So teaching for us is not an option. But when people do the course and they go, could I get employed afterwards? I'm like, absolutely. We've got 4 studios coming up, and I want to make sure that I always have enough instructors on hand. And then I think as well for franchisees going forward, the teacher training program, we've just run our 11th one out. It's going online early next year. That's really important to me as well because if a studio opens up or if a HIIT Pilates studio opens up and it's not serviced with the best instructors, well then it's not going to be giving the best product. And again, my name's associated with that. So I'm very, very proud of what we've created, and I want that to be what expands.
It just sounds like you're building a fantastic foundation really to establish that business. So, no, well done. Well done on that, nationally accredited. So the third thing we were going to talk about that you listed to me as a key thing in the growth of HIIT Pilates now, and I think this is we move away from the studio so much, this is about the business model, is your investment in professional marketing. So you've done that, you've been consistent at doing that. I
recognised pretty early on that marketing and social media were not my strong suits at all, and I don't know where I read it from. I read it somewhere early on when I was setting everything up, and it was some quote from someone saying, invest your time in the things that you're passionate about and don't try and be a jack of all trades.
Yep.
I'm very good at delegating, and my marketing manager has been with me now since 2022. She is phenomenal, and we have a great social media presence. We film a lot of social content.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of your viral. You've only got quite a few viral pieces as well.
Yeah. We've done some pretty good ones. Yeah. I only got in front of the camera for her about a year ago. She'd been asking the entire time. I was like, absolutely not.
You said you don't even love doing this. You wouldn't even watch this.
No, this is not. No, my favourite thing is doing the teacher tips.
Is that right?
Because I'm like, well, that's just me.
Because you literally won't even watch this video.
No, I won't. No, absolutely not.
All right, fair enough.
But the stuff that we do online, when I do a teacher tip, absolutely. That's just her filming me doing what I love. But the funny social stuff, you won't see me in that. We get our instructors to do that. We actually get our students as well. I'll sort of handpick students, go, would you like to be on our next socials? And they absolutely love that too. So
the brand
is growing. We've recently in the last 12 months, we've upgraded our logo. That's all trademarked globally.
Yep.
So for us, it's really important to have a consistent brand image and to have a social media presence, to have a really strong marketing campaign behind us, because we want people to know about us, not only so that hopefully the franchisees will come on board, but also for students. We want that sort of constant influx of new students coming into our studios and experiencing what we have to offer.
Of course. Okay, and the which was on, it was the, we've finished with investing in professional marketing. Now it was the fourth one we were talking about, and I almost forgot it there for a minute. I almost forgot it there. And your vision, and this was very interesting to me because we talked about growth of the business and everything. And the fourth key for you was that you were very, very comfortable in this being a boutique style,
Absolutely.
size type of business. So you're not looking to be this on every street corner and everything.
No.
So why is that such a key part? Is a key part of your path, I suppose, because you're plotting this journey?
Yeah, well, I suppose that is because I want my franchisees to be happy. And what I've recognized from a lot of fitness group fitness brands, when they have grown, and they've grown very quickly and just everywhere, when I talk to the studio owners, the franchisees, they sort of feel like they're cannibalizing each other. And I don't want that to be the case. I really like the fact that with our studios now, the community expands more than just the initial suburbs. It's sort of, you get people who travel a little bit to come because they want to. So I see for franchisees going forward, having that starting studio and looking around and, okay, where can we sort of grow that franchisee? So where can they have their sort of own little
their pocket to grow
territory,
into,
for want of another word? I know that.
So you're not doing it in territories, though?
No, I just want, and it'll grow like that. It'll be like that. So Shirley's our first franchisee. She's got her idea. She's got the first one. She's already got that idea of where it's going to grow from, and she's going to be able to take that on. And I want that to be for every franchisee going forward. It's like, where's your vision and where do you like, so that I'm not then selling another franchisee where someone else is like, oh, I kind of wanted to have that one in a couple of years' time.
Yeah, so do you see that it's a multi-site? You see potentially multi-site potential?
Multi-site. And look, if it definitely looking at New South Wales first, because I really want to make sure that I can definitely get in and touch and feel everything. And then obviously when we expand further, it'll be the same premise, just not in every corner, not cannibalizing each other, having a really good community focus, and having that sort of owner-occupier type business.
Yeah, definitely. So now the fifth key thing in the growing of HIIT Pilates franchise is probably the most important one, and that is that when you actually decided to do it. So plenty of entrepreneurial people, there's plenty of people who dream to be entrepreneurial and do things, whatever. So that moment where you decided, right, I'm doing it, I'm going for it. So this was 2020, wasn't it?
It was actually
so
2019.
Tell me about that.
2019. Well, actually, there's this story. So I caught up with an old friend November of 2019, and I hadn't seen him in ages, and he was like, oh, Carla, I'm doing Pilates now, and he mentioned the instructor's name, and he's like, and I said, oh, actually I did my teacher training with her. And he said, oh, did she teach you? And I was like, no. But because she was a manager of that studio, he thought, and I was like, well, she's not higher than I am. Ridiculous.
I can do that.
If she can do it, I can do it. And she was, I wasn't saying just, she was a manager at a studio, so it wasn't her studio. And it just made me go, you know what? Why can't I be more than just an instructor? I've always been a very ambitious person, and I think I had kids. It was just easy to have a job that really worked well.
Just get into a groove.
Yeah, it just worked really well being a mum and being a Pilates instructor, teaching my classes. And I thought, you know what? What's going to happen when I'm sort of my 50s and 60s, and I'm begging to teach the Sunday afternoon shift at some community gym because no one else wants me to teach. I thought, no. I need to safeguard my own future. And then again, I sat down. I was like, okay, right, I'm going to have my own studio, but what's going to be different? And then my creative juices just sort of...
And then it just snowballed from there.
It really did.
So how long did that take? So that was late 2019.
So that was November 2019. I had the space locked in November. So within 6 weeks, I had the space locked in.
Wow. Was that advisable?
I was going to open up on the first week of March 2020.
And that was a great time.
Well, but I needed a change of use, and I didn't even know what a change of use was.
Oh, yeah.
So I
for
needed
the premises.
for
sort of change what you can actually do in it. Yeah.
So I needed one of those, and I was like, oh, that's really annoying. And so in my lawyer said, in your lease agreement, make sure that it doesn't start until that change of use comes through. Well, thank goodness, because within about 3 days, the first COVID came through. So I wasn't paying my lease until the change of use came through.
And of course, the landlord's going, did she sign it? Did she sign it?
No, council was inundated with lots of stuff at that point. So I then didn't get my change of use until June.
Wow.
Which was wonderful, because then I spent time that was in lockdown doing the fit out because I could, and I opened up on the 1st of July 2020, and I was really worried because I have the TV screens for the HIIT component, and I remember thinking about it when I was in my planning stage. I thought, oh, people are going to think the TVs are really naff, and then when I opened up, people had been doing training on their phone, and so suddenly there was this there were 2 big TVs, like, oh, this is great, and I thought, this is just all like, honestly,
it's just fallen into place.
It's just all fallen into place. So the TVs just were a natural transition for everyone, and the classes.
So you picked the perfect time.
Honestly,
almost.
I know. Like, honestly, for me, it was. It was, and even the second lockdown gave me the time to write the teacher training program.
Yeah.
So, from my mind, things happen for a reason, and
so
this is all just
what you did with what you did in those moments, then, basically,
how I chose to use that time, I suppose.
Yeah. So what was the reason to jump out and start it from your career? It was to just get in control of your own destiny,
Absolutely.
like you said.
Yeah, I wanted to be in charge of my own destiny. I wanted to have bricks and mortar that were mine. I wanted to be in charge, and I think also, at that stage, I've been teaching for 7 or so years. I knew I could do it better.
You were ready.
I could do it better than they were doing it. And I thought, now's the time. So
Excellent. Well, that's a great wrap on the 5 key things that have made the HIIT Pilates business what it is today. Thanks very much, Carla.
Cheers.
And that's it for another one of the Franchise Everything podcast. We've learned a little bit more here about HIIT Pilates today. If you like this sort of stuff, please share, like, subscribe, and do all that sort of stuff to get this content out there and about. And we'll catch you again the next one soon.